Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to apply.
My name is Despina Zudro, or Ina, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a freshman here at WPI, and I'm studying BME. I play club lacrosse, and I've also been involved in some of the theater programs here at WPI as well. I'm a first-gen college student, and I'm also Greek and Albanian, and I actively speak Albanian. And I decided to apply as one of the 2022 Connections PAs because I was a student in 2021 and I absolutely adored everything we did, all the activities, getting to know people and being able to relate to people. And being first gen, we were able to connect way farther than your average surface level.
What do you think your greatest strength and challenge would be in this position?
All right, so I think my greatest strengths in this position would probably be that I am first gen, so I can understand where a lot of students that are coming in through the Connections program are coming from in terms of the overwhelmingness and pressure of being successful for people beyond themselves, beyond your average student. A lot of kids here at WPI are not first gen, so being able to connect on that level I think will really establish a sense of trust and community. And also being from Worcester, which I am, it's a huge plus in terms of getting people more comfortable with the area, especially people from out of town or out of the state, and letting them know that there's some pretty fun things to do in the city beyond campus, I think will really get them more accustomed to coming in.
Tell us about your organization and time management skills.
So, like many, I do struggle with time organization, like that whole thing. But I find personally that keeping a list of everything I need to get done and when I want it done by helps me keep track, and I'm able to check things off, and it makes me feel a lot better, it makes me feel productive, and I'm able to make changes very easily as opposed to doing it like virtually. A lot of people do love Outlook Calendar, but I personally would feel as though it's going to be more work for me to go and edit something if there's a dent in my plan. So that's why I like to keep like a written track of everything I need to get done.
Share a situation when you had to use customer service skills to solve a problem, and what did you learn from this situation?
All right, so I work in fast food. I'm a Dunkin' employee, so I use customer service skills literally every single day that I'm at work. And this one time, this lady had come into our drive-thru, and she complained that she got a bagel from another Dunkin', and they hadn't put enough cream cheese on it. And she complained to them, and they didn't change, like they redid it and gave her the same thing. And she was just very annoyed with that. And it wasn't even our Dunkin', but she came to us, and I said, "Miss, like it's okay, we understand. Like I'll get you a new bagel." I asked one of the ladies working at the sandwich station to make her a new bagel, add extra cream cheese the way she asked. And then when I gave it out to her, she was so pleased. She was just in awe. She was like, "I'm gonna write a good review for you guys," because when I went to somebody who made the mistake and they didn't fix it, like I didn't know what to do, and she felt bad even. And so one thing I would say, and how this applies to situations beyond customer service or fast food, would be sometimes a different source can be the solution. For example, if you feel as though this teacher isn't doing it for you, go to a TA. If that TA isn't doing it for you, go to somebody else. You can talk. There's so many people on campus that you can reach out to. And so if you're not getting what you need from one person, there's plenty of other options.
What is your communication style?
So being a people person, I much rather prefer speaking in person as opposed to like text or Snapchat or whatever. But obviously I understand that, especially today with COVID situations, sometimes in person is not as convenient as we would like. And so when that's the case, I prefer FaceTime over text, or of course like text and call. And then being a freshman, we have a lot of experience with social media, so I'm also pretty good with that too.
Describe your experiences with policy enforcement and how you communicate policies to peers.
All right, so usually I'll follow policy if I respect the person that's enforcing it or that's responsible for putting it forward. I don't really have a problem being a follower or doing what I'm told if I respect who's telling me what to do. But if I find a friend abusing or deliberately ignoring it, I have no problem calling them out for it. And especially if it's putting somebody else in danger or at risk of something. I'm actually a babysitter as well, so I have to break some bad or upsetting news to younger kids and people that I care about, and I'd like to think that I do it in a way that's respectful and understanding as opposed to making somebody feel horrible about a mistake or something.
What role do you typically play on a team?
On a team, if I think that I'm the most knowledgeable in a specific area, or if I'm the most strong or confident about a certain topic, I have no problem taking charge or leading. But if I understand that, yeah, this isn't my place, or I don't feel as though I'm as knowledgeable as maybe the next person will be, I have no problem letting it be known to my group, like, hey guys, like, y'all got that, because it's not for me, and I understand that, and there's no reason why somebody else shouldn't try to do it if I believe they can do it better. But I am a good team player, I'd like to think.
What happens when you disagree with someone on the same team?
So if I disagree with somebody on the same team, my first response will be to reflect on what's driving both of our opinions, like what experiences, why we're coming to these conclusions. And if I feel strongly about my background or my past in terms of how I'm coming to these conclusions, then I'll advocate that. But if after doing some reflecting, I feel as though they may have a stronger backing, then I'll ask them to go ahead, re-explain. And if neither approach allows like a mutual agreement, I'll consult other teammates or leaders whose opinions or experiences I think may be higher than mine or the opposing teammates.
Discuss a time in which you interacted with someone who had different values and or beliefs than you.
So recently, or not so recently, but recently enough, a classmate of mine and I got not into it, but we had some disagreements in regards to the Black Lives Matter protests. They had a claim as though they were disruptive and unnecessary, and I entirely disagreed with them, and I tried to be very understanding of where they were coming from, but it was very easy for me to break down their points and let them know where they are wrong. For example, they claimed as though protests have not done anything in the past, when there is clearly historical evidence, for example, in regards to getting LGBTQ plus rights. That is an example in which protests were very, very helpful. And also, they made claims in that a lot of people who are protesting are turning it into riots, when in certain situations, for example, there was this video that was spread around with people holding TVs outside of a Target, and then another video that was cycled that was very few people saw was that people had gone into Target to get TVs as an attempt to build a barrier because they were being shot with tear gas, and I forget what the bullets were called, but regardless, I tried to let it be known, and then once they refused to acknowledge any of my opinions, like, we just kind of decided that we can't be friends because of how different our views are, and that's how that went.
How do you plan to create an inclusive and supportive environment in the Connections program?
So I intend to promote an inclusive and supportive community by paying close attention to every activity we do and making sure that everybody who wants to do something, wants to say something, feels comfortable doing it. If I feel as though somebody's being talked over, I plan on calling that person and letting it be known that I'm listening and we're listening, and I have no problem asking students to speak on their own experiences after I've shared mine. I think that the best way to make an inclusive community is to be vulnerable with people, but I understand that not everybody can do it so quickly, which is why I would not mind being the first to put some degree of vulnerability out there so that other people feel comfortable doing the same.